Hey, Nadia.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Today, we want to talk a little bit about something that's been on a lot of people's mind, I think, at least a lot of people around me, and that is AI. I'm assuming that everybody knows what AI stands for.
I mean, I would assume so also. It's just been such a big thing for the past few years that it's hard to escape that.
And the reason why I want to talk about it with you is because there have been a couple of times that I've had conversations with people that talk about, well, I mean, yeah, everybody talks about like how it's affecting education and how it's affecting the job market and all these things. So, regarding education, I had a talk with a friend of mine who's a professor, and she was really concerned because a lot of the students that she's been working with have not been performing as well in like outside standardized tests even though they're doing well in school, like in the program that they're in or the major they're in, they're not doing well on standardized tests.
What do you mean by standardized tests? Like an MCAT or SAT or like a unit test?
As I'm trying to be like as non-specific as possible, right? I
Mhm.
have a few friends that are professors. I don't really want to like name their program
Well, I
specifically.
mean like high school and below
College.
or
Yeah,
okay.
call it like tests that like college or grad school students have to take to prove that they are absorbing the information that they have been taught during grad school or college. Yeah, so her concern was that some of the people that did pretty well in school didn't do well in the tests, and we were talking about why that could be, and I wanna know your thoughts on this. We talked about how maybe students weren't having to think as deeply or
Mhm.
process information. You know, that whole process of when you like learn information and have to like remember it and then regurgitate it and then re-swallow it and then like think about it from a different perspective, like having to like kind of like play with the information yourself might not be happening. I'll give you an example. So Eric, your dad,
Mhm.
in a class right now, and he's taking intro to programming just for funsies. And he will do I think they're called problem sets for his
Mhm.
programming homework. And then he'll double check it with ChatGPT. And then when he doesn't get it right, he says, well, why didn't I get it right? And then
Mhm.
ChatGPT will tell him, and he'll be like, oh. And so he feels like he tried it, he double checked his work by his tutor, Mr. ChatGPT. And then when he couldn't get it, he asked his tutor why. And he didn't have to like actually think about it himself, like, you know, dive into it and go like, well, wait, why wasn't this correct? And so what do you think about that?
Well, I feel like I use like AI in similar ways. I mean, there are moments where I'm like, well, I really should just be doing this on my own. Or like it'll be like not that I end up using it, like ChatGPT, but like I think about using ChatGPT for some like help with some homework assignments where I'm like, well, I actually could really just do this on my own. But in scenarios like the one you're describing, for me personally, I don't know. I have a hard time like making connections between like problems and concepts and like in in the circumstances of like a homework problem or a test problem if it's not already given to me. So it's helpful when ChatGPT is able to give me a reason why and then I memorize that. Because like it's not like I can take AI with me everywhere. What the information they're giving me, like I still need to like take for myself and then interpret it when I'm doing a later homework assignment or doing a different test. But I there are some moments where AI isn't helpful in that sense, like for a lot of science classes or like math-based problems, it can get things wrong. So I feel like there's just a way to use it. My thought right now is that there's a way to use it efficiently where it's not doing all your work, but it's actually just helping you or, doing what you would do on Google. But I mean, a lot of people are very against ChatGPT in that sense of like you could just Google it and also like for environmental purposes. But it's just been really helpful for like taking hard, like to understand concepts and then like describing it in simpler terms, which is available probably on the internet, but not very easily found.
Mhm.
But yeah, you do have to use it with like kind of a grain of salt. Like it could be incorrect and sometimes it will make things up or like make sources up. So you just have to double check your work depending on what you're using it for. And I definitely wouldn't rely on it to do like a whole assignment without double checking or like anything along that line. Cause I mean, first of all, that's plagiarism. Second of all, like probably going to be wrong. But I don't know. There's a way to make it helpful. And I feel like the way that he's using it for like explaining answers for me, that helps. But I guess there is something to say about like just figuring it out on your own.
So I think that there's lots of ways that technology is helping us be more efficient and make things easier. And that's okay, right? But then are we then having to still use our brain for other things? Like it's like taking away some of our job, this technology, but like are we also then having to like use our brain in challenging ways to make up for the fact that we're not exercising it? It's almost like like sitting on like a stim machine on your
Mhm.
bicep and just having it do the, like, contractions versus, like, lifting the weight yourself versus like a dumbbell versus,
Mhm.
like, lifting like, just getting strong because life has to, like, requires you to lift things, you know? It's like
Mhm.
layers of, I don't know, mm, meaningfulness of the work, you know? And
Yeah.
are we lacking some of it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard also because I feel like because a lot of the majority of people are utilizing it for you not to use it would almost feel like putting you at a disadvantage
Mhm.
because it's not like no one's using it. You know what I mean? Like it'd be different if you were the only one in maybe your class or your school using ChatGPT, like it was a new thing, but like there are a lot of people that use it. So it's like by not using it, like they're getting that extra help or like finding answers just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they're like,
Then the
they,
standard of, like, what the expectation is based on the fact that everybody has access to it.
right.
True. I mean, I'm not saying not to use it, I'm just saying, like, "Huh, are we losing some of our brain strength because we're using this, and is there a way to make up for it elsewhere?"
Hmm.
Kinda like, sometimes I'll just not use my GPS on my car to just figure out how to get places because I fully remember, like, just having to drive without a map or a car telling me where to go, you know?
But then it's like everyone else is using GPS, so why would you be the only one that's not using it if it's just gonna
No.
make things easier?
Yeah, yeah, but it's like I wanna exercise that part of my brain, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that like your brain could be actually that way doing like different things? Like I
That that's what I'm
feel like
wondering, like,
people
what
like
are the opportunities for
make
that?
these things. Yeah, people make these things to make people's lives easier, and it's not like our brains are never going to be stimulated ever again. I mean, for us specifically, I mean, maybe some other people, whatever, but like our brains are still, it's not like, I don't know, you're still making active decisions even when you're using ChatGPT or a GPS thing. Like, it's not always just like mindless.
Mhm. Yeah,
Follow
that's
it.
like for someone that grew up before, like, phones were pretty popular and then being living in it now, fully using it technology like everybody else is, not trying to stray away from it. Like, those are the thoughts that are in my head, like, what part of my brain is deteriorating that I used to exercise before? And, yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of, like, mindless stuff that we do just getting fed information.
It's also
Mm.
like, I mean, if you were to go that far, then like, why are we using cars if we could just walk or you could use the public
Totally.
transportation? And it just is like all these advancements that people make. It's like, I mean, at what cost? I don't know. It's like we want to not be dependent on it, but then like, why did we make it in the first place?
I know. I mean, at what cost? We know what cost there's associated with not using your feet to get from one place to another. Like we get less
Right.
exercise, interact with the environment less. But then, we make up for it in other ways, I guess, But
Yeah. And places are made in like far from like people's homes. So it's like that you just can't walk. Like it's like not possible. I don't know.
okay, next way that it's affecting us as a society and our health, the job market. So
Mhm.
Eric and I have a friend who was talking about the job that he did like a year ago or 2 years ago would take
Mhm.
like a whole team of people and a couple of weeks. And now he can do it by himself in like a couple hours, just him, because AI makes it so much easier and more efficient. And I just had a conversation with somebody today who was talking about how, in order for me to become a volunteer professor at
Mhm.
UCSF, I haven't done it. It's been on my to do list forever, and I haven't done it because part of it is that I have to reform my, reformat my curriculum vitae, this long, long resume thing, to the form that they want, the format that they
Right.
want. And I was just like, "Oh, that's just, like, so tedious," and I just, like that's, like, the task that overwhelms me. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm just like, I don't wanna do it."
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, why don't you just use ChatGPT? Put the, like, requirements up and then put up your resume, and it'll spit it back out to you in the format that they want." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a genius." Like, that literally it's been on my list of things to do since, I guess, probably more than 5 years because that's how
Yeah.
long like, the last time I thought about actually doing it, ChatGPT wasn't around or not widely used. And I was like, "Oh, wow. Well, that's a way to make things more efficient." And yeah, and then I also had a conversation with somebody. We were talking about our college-aged kids. What
Mhm.
kind of job would you tell your college-aged kid to do in this environment that we have where we have artificial intelligence that can do a lot?
Yeah.
Oh,
I I
what are your thoughts?
mean, well, a lot of people are like, well, there's so many jobs everywhere that can be like replaced, which is true in a lot some fields, but like for healthcare, I feel like there are things that could technically be replaced by a robot, but it wouldn't be in our best interest to. And I think that AI will be like utilized in certain parts of healthcare, but definitely not all, because at the end of the day, like I just feel like people wouldn't like it wouldn't be anyone's first choice to be treated by someone that wasn't real. You know what I mean? And to get
Mhm.
advice from someone that wasn't real. I mean, like, I could go on and on about that. But I don't know. It is sad for people whose jobs like could actually be like taken away completely, but also for your friend that the thing that they used to do in a week now takes a couple hours, like maybe he'll make more money or they'll make more money. I just assumed it was a he. And you didn't even say. But
Well, he lost
I
3 jobs.
well, I'm I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't really know, but for things like resume, I guess I can't really talk about jobs, so I don't really know. But for things like for resumes or CVs or things like that, I mean, like, I don't really know how you couldn't not use it because that is something that takes a lot of time. And there's also ways to utilize it where it's not like generating fake information for you. Like, it's not, like it's giving you the format, but like not all the stuff that's in it is something that would already have been in your resume or CV from before. I don't know. I just feel like for me personally, it's useful in that sense. It's not always useful for school because some professors are so against it, but I don't know. People end up using it anyways.
And don't you feel like when someone writes something like a cover letter or like an email with ChatGPT, it comes off a little bit like lacking depth and
I
like
mean, like, There's
use
times
the
where
word.
things can, like, seem definitely more ChatGPT, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like you have to take those things with a grain of salt as well. It's almost like, I mean, unless I don't know. I've just seen, like, professionals use it and students and people use it for recreational purposes, so it's like, it's not a student that's, like, or, like, an employee that's being lazy, like, I don't know. People are busy. I just feel like in that sense, like, I understand that. I would say, like, you should probably change your things, like, a little bit. Doesn't sound like you, but it also can help make sure I don't know. I think I've used it for emails before where I wanted to make sure I didn't, like, forget any like, if I had to respond to, I don't know, like, a company about, like, something that I ordered or, like, respond I don't even know. But
Right.
in
If
that
you're
like,
doing
something
like,
like that, it's like
well, the stakes are low there, right? When you're like a customer and you're trying to write an email to somebody, like a company that you purchase something from, and you're trying to complain to them, stakes are low. But when you're trying to write like a thank you card to somebody or like something where you're truly trying to like show gratitude or connection, you don't
yeah,
want it to
it's
sound
true.
like
I feel like
perfunctory or you know what I mean? Just like I know that like you don't want it to come off like I'm required to write this email. Here are
right,
the
right.
necessary
Well,
words,
I
you
feel
know?
like it's true, but, I mean, in the times I've used it in that sense, it feels more so like I'm using it to help me. So, like, I couldn't figure out on my own, but it's like I mean, for, like, resumes or cover letters, like, there are resources online that can do the same thing as AI, but you have to pay money for it. So it's
Mhm.
like, if I could already find this, even if AI wasn't a thing, like, why can't I just get it for free? And then obviously taking the time to make it like my own thing, but to take a template, like, haven't taken a class that's like, this is how you write a cover letter necessarily, you know? So it's like, oh, I'm using my resources in that way. But I will say, like, for, I don't know, any other emails that aren't, like, low stakes or, like, I don't know, things like that, it is hard to have AI available because it's, like, it's so easily you could use it so easily, but and it'll help you, but I don't know.
That's funny. I was talking to somebody who's around my age, and I think that back in the day when we didn't have the internet or ChatGPT as easily accessible, writing a cover letter that was like the correct template seemed pretty good because it's like at that time, people were wanting to make sure that you knew what the societal expectations were for a cover letter or a thank you letter or something like that. Like you're showing that you know what the rules are. But now that there's so much less opportunity to really connect in a meaningful way one-on-one with people and show that you see them and hope to be seen by them. Like it's almost like the opposite is what is impressive. Like when someone can make the effort to have a meaningful message to somebody that's personalized and even more casual seems more like impressive than being ultra formal and getting all the check boxes in.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I guess that makes sense in the past, but now it's like everyone's just in, like, general, it's not just I mean, everyone's just trying to check out their is just trying to check off their boxes, everyone's always 5 steps ahead. It's like you kinda it's like you're everyone's using it to get back like that 5 steps ahead at all at the same time. I don't know. I'm kinda losing my train of thought, but it's like, I don't know, if they're maybe in the sense of, like, my co-op search right now, like, if I had 1 job or 2 jobs I really, really liked, I would spend the time and make a more, like, personalized cover letter, then it's like people apply can apply to, like, over 30 and this over the course of, like, 2 months where it's like how am I supposed to be able to write 30 cover letters? I need to just have a template and be able to like use it so I can. make it applicable to each job, you know?
I get it. It's a balance. That person that I was talking to today, she was telling me that she was having some frustration getting an interview for a position, and she talked to somebody at that organization, and they said, "Oh, it's, we're using these systems to look at particular words, and when you say these particular words, you get called back." And so, like me as a small business, I will be most impressed by someone who's gone the extra effort to be personalized with something instead of giving me like a template, form letter. But when you're applying to bigger organizations, when there's machines reading it, not people feeling it, but machines reading it, it might be a disadvantage for you to not use machines to write things because you want it to like include the necessary keywords that another machine is going to pick up on, right? Okay, so I just want to end with one more thing because I'm sure that we can go on and on, and I look forward to like in 20 years when we listen back to this message and to this conversation. I'm like, look at all of our concerns about AI. Now look at our world. But okay, or my concerns. That's my question. Actually, I saw this Instagram post that some guy was saying, here are all my concerns about AI, but I've yet to meet somebody under 40 who's concerned. So, are you at all concerned? Or you're just like, you old people are like trying to
I
be,
mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that, like, there's no reason to be concerned. I understand the concerns. It always ends up feeling like a thing, like, if one generation is not used to whatever is coming next, it's like, oh my goodness, like, why do we need that? You know what I mean? But, and I understand that, because it is a pretty big thing, but, like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it could be useful, and hopefully, if it's used in the correct, like, ethical ways, like, I don't know, it can be used to improve society and improve jobs, but I don't know, I feel like because it is such a crazy thing that, or like, I don't know, we kind of just don't really know what it's gonna do since it's so new, that it's hard to trust it right now. So I understand like being like hesitant. And also the environmental things. It's like, how worth it is it really? But I don't know.
well, do you think the rest of the people in your generation have any concerns or qualms over it? Like, do you guys talk about it at all? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, I guess a little bit. But and I mean it's brought up in classes when professors are like, don't use it. I feel like it's an issue when you don't have any drive or motivation, like when it's being used to like think for you. Like for me, like even if I am using it for emails or whatever work related things, school related things, like I'm either still really passionate about the thing or I know what I'm writing about. I just needed like help. I don't know. I had a question that I couldn't find an answer to on Google. Like, I don't know. It's like I'm using it to better make things better or easier for myself instead of like having it think for me, or at least that's what I hope that I'm using it for, or what I intend to use it for. But I don't know.
Are your peers concerned?
I mean, I think everyone kind of feels the same way. It's like you can't really not use it sometimes because it's so available, and sometimes you do like. Sometimes people recommend that you use it. When I took like my biostats class and we used R Studio, like the teacher said to use ChatGPT to help. Like it is helpful and it can be used in other ways. And so from a student perspective, there isn't very many cons if you don't look past, like if you don't look at it in a larger sense, you know?
I guess in a way, it can be a reminder of what is like essentially human. If you have a problem or and you ask ChatGPT how to solve it, if you can't think beyond that or whatever you can think of beyond what ChatGPT can give you is what makes your human interaction particularly special. I,
Yeah.
as a physical therapist, people can look up, like, what do I do about my back pain? and it
Right.
gives like a whole bunch of different things that are all good things, right? They're like, it's like we're spot on. But I can see, because this is my area of expertise, I can see what it's missing. And so then you can remember,
Right.
like, oh, I see. Okay. Well, that is what I want to be able to provide to people, what they can't get
Yeah.
from just searching it
It's
online.
true. When I've used it in like a medical sense for my own like personal reasons, I find that I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, but like it could just it personal like you when you're on looking at things up on Google, it's not like it, they're not taking into consideration your personal situation. They're just bringing up like the general information about XYZ. But like if I ask like why is it normal to have throat pain, like, at whatever, like, whatever, a more specific question, it can help answer that and, like, gather information together, and then you work from that, but I don't know. That doesn't really answer any question, but just thought.
All right. Well, I'm sure that now this thing that we're recording on is going to pull together excerpts of our conversation using artificial intelligence, and it's going to listen to our conversation and make a, like script it out for us based on this technology that makes things faster, right? So, I mean, thank goodness for that, but also I guess to be determined. It's not like we can stop it, but hopefully the powers that be are have good ethical, like, kind of bumpers to keep us from going in a scary direction with this information.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Nadia.
Bye-bye.